What do Spotify, JetBlue, and thousands of other data teams have in common? Somewhere in their stack sits a tool called dbt. It doesn't move data, and it doesn't store data. All it does is transform data, using plain SQL, and it has quietly become one of the most important tools in modern analytics. In this video, you'll learn what dbt actually is, where it came from, why companies choose to adopt it, and the core building blocks behind it. Let's get started. dbt stands for Data Build Tool. It's not a database, and it's not a pipeline tool. It's a transformation framework that sits on top of a database you already have, and it lets you write your transformations in plain SQL instead of a tangle of stored procedures. You simply write a select statement, save it as a file, and dbt turns it into a table or a view. The real shift dbt introduced was cultural rather than technical. It brought software engineering discipline into analytics work, version control, automated testing, and clear documentation. A SQL script stopped being a forgotten file sitting in someone's folder, and started being treated like real code, reviewed and tested before it shipped. Let's look at where dbt actually came from. Back in 2016, a small analytics consultancy called Fishtown Analytics built an internal tool just to manage their own client SQL a little more sanely. In 2018, they open-sourced that tool as dbt, and the analytics engineering community grew around it quickly, because a lot of teams had exactly the same problem. By 2020, dbt Cloud launched, giving teams a managed option instead of running their own infrastructure. And by 2022, the company renamed itself dbt Labs, after the product that had made it famous. This history matters because it explains dbt's whole design philosophy. It wasn't built by a vendor trying to sell you infrastructure. It was built by working analysts, solving their own everyday problem. And the core of dbt stayed free and open source the entire time, with dbt Cloud sitting on top as an optional paid convenience rather than a paywall on the tool itself. That let adoption spread naturally, one team at a time. Its timing also lined up perfectly with the rise of cheap, fast cloud warehouses like Snowflake and BigQuery, which gave ordinary companies enormous compute power. dbt turned out to be exactly the missing piece that let teams put that power to good use. To see where dbt fits, look at a shift that happened across data engineering, the move from ETL to ELT. In the old ETL world, you'd extract data, transform it somewhere in the middle on a separate server, and only then load the finished result into your warehouse. That middle step was often a black box, hard to test and expensive to scale. ELT simply flips the last two steps. You extract the data, load it into the warehouse in its raw form, and transform it afterward, right there inside the warehouse, using its own compute power. This only became practical once cloud warehouses got cheap and fast enough to handle it, and that transform step, running in SQL inside the warehouse, is exactly where dbt lives. Here's what the full modern data stack looks like end to end. On one side, you have your sources, applications, APIs, and operational databases. A tool like Fishtown or Airbit ingests that raw data and loads it into a warehouse like Snowflake or BigQuery. From there, dbt takes over, transforming that raw data into clean, tested, well-documented tables. Finally, a BI tool like Looker or Tableau queries those tables to build the dashboards people actually look at. Notice that every piece here is a specialist. Ingestion tools ingest, warehouses store and compute, dbt transforms, and BI tools visualize. That specialization is really the defining idea behind the whole modern data stack. To be precise about dbt's job, it only handles the transformation, and nothing else. It doesn't extract data, and it doesn't load it anywhere. It simply assumes the raw data is already sitting in your warehouse. You write individual select statements, and dbt figures out the correct order to run them in, based on what depends on what. Here's the part that tends to surprise people, dbt itself never actually processes any data. It generates SQL and hands it off to your warehouse to execute, So all the real compute happens on Snowflake or BigQuery, not inside dbt in a real sense. dbt is just a very capable SQL orchestrator, with testing built directly into its core. So why do companies actually spend real money adopting dbt? The first, most immediate win is faster, more reliable reporting. Instead of 5 analysts each writing a slightly different version of monthly active users, that logic gets built once, tested, and reused everywhere, which quietly eliminates one of the most common, most frustrating meetings in any company, the one where two teams show up with different numbers for the same metric. Underneath that, there's a deeper shift happening too. Analysts start working like software engineers, with their SQL going through review and automated testing before it ever touches production data. Let's walk through 3 quick examples. A fintech company builds dbt tests directly into their pipeline, so a broken join between payments and refunds gets caught automatically, every single night, long before it reaches a finance dashboard. A brand new analyst can read a dbt project's documentation and dependency graph and understand the whole data model in a day, instead of spending weeks piecing together tribal knowledge. And a retail company can redefine exactly what counts as a returning customer in one single place, and watch every downstream report update automatically and consistently, with no manual hunting through a dozen dashboards. Put all of that together, and here's what it means for the business as a whole. Trust in data becomes the default assumption, rather than something people quietly double-check by hand. Teams ship changes faster and with far less fear, because a broken change gets caught by an automated test within minutes, not 3 weeks later in an uncomfortable meeting. And this whole approach scales along with a growing company instead of working against it, since adding a new data source doesn't mean starting from scratch. It just means adding one more well-organized piece to a system that already works. Before we wrap up, let's cover the 4 core building blocks you'll find in every dbt project: models, sources, seeds, and snapshots. You don't need the exact syntax today, that's a topic for a future video, but once you understand what each of these is for, you'll understand the shape of any dbt project you ever open. A model is simply a SQL select statement saved as a file, and it becomes an actual table or view in your warehouse once it runs. A source tells dbt about raw data that's already sitting in your warehouse, usually loaded there by a tool like Fishtown. A seed is small, static reference data, like a CSV of country codes, that you version control right alongside your code. And a snapshot captures exactly what a raw looked like at a specific point in time, which matters because source systems often quietly override old values, and a snapshot is how you keep an accurate history despite that. Here's how these pieces fit together in a real project. You start by declaring your sources, the raw tables already in your warehouse, and then build models on top of them in layers, moving from staging to intermediate to final business-facing tables. Seeds quietly fill in the gaps that raw operational data simply can't provide, and snapshots protect your history in the background, so that when a source system overrides yesterday's value with today's, you haven't lost the ability to answer honest questions about the past. Let's bring it all together. dbt is a SQL-based transformation framework that grew out of real analytics pain back in 2016. And it now sits at the center of how modern data teams operate. It's the T in the modern ELT stack, doing nothing but transformation, with testing and version control built in from the start. It delivers real business value, in the form of trusted numbers, faster onboarding, and the confidence to iterate safely. And every project you'll ever open is built from the same 4 objects: models, sources, seeds, and snapshots. That's the foundation. You now understand what dbt is, where it came from, why companies choose to adopt it, and the 4 core objects behind every project. In the next video, we'll go hands-on, setting up a real project and writing your first model together. If this gave you a solid foundation, subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next one.